It is 1:05 p.m. on the 14th of October, and we will begin this afternoon's work session of goals and priorities for different budgets. Hi, Matt. And we'll start with our CSU extension.
Fantastic. You want me to come forward at all, or?
It's totally up to you, wherever you wanna be.
I'm happy here if that works.
Maybe you just come a little bit closer
Yeah,
so
sure.
the Zoom catches
Absolutely.
you.
And then have you two met Kurt Jones yet?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think Matt and I
Yeah.
met at
Silverthorne?
yeah, at Silverthorne, but
Yeah, so I actually invited Kurt Jones to come up. He is our regional director for the Mountain Region, and in that capacity, you're over, is it 13 counties?
Yeah.
13,
Yeah.
I was right, well, good. So I was gonna let Matt, I'm doing great today.
You're doing great.
Let Kurt introduce himself.
okay, so yeah, I'm Kurt Jones. Prior to crossing over the dark side and becoming an administrator, I was the Chaffey County Director for 24 years.
Cool.
And so, you may be familiar with Broken Arrows 4-H Club here in Lake County. That club started the same year that I started in Chaffey County, so I've been a part of that club in all of the iterations that it's gone through at this point. So my understanding of the history of extension here in Lake County is that in 1977, when Climax Mine closed before, one of the casualties of that was that the extension office was closed here in Lake County. And I actually had the opportunity to meet and work. Our careers overlapped by a couple of years, but Sue Cummings was the county extension director here prior to that. I knew Sue as one of the state 4-H office faculty members there. So, and so during COVID, we were going through a statewide needs assessment, not because of COVID, but just happened to land during that time. And so I did the community needs assessment in Chaffey County, but I also included a lot of Lake County folks in that particular exercise. And so in 2022, we ended up re-signing the memorandum of understanding between Lake County and Carlston University to reopen the extension office here. So 45 years between county directors was a long time. So there's been some kind of unique challenges in reopening an extension office after that time frame because there's no history there. A lot of the folks have no idea what we do. And so, very pleased to be able to hire Diana, and I think she impressed our local committee by talking about the size of her coat that she had up in Alaska when she was up there. So, so anyway, that's a very brief overview of my understanding of the extension program here in Lake County. And I'm excited to see what the future holds.
And you guys are always welcome to reach out to Kurt at any time. He's there, happy to help. He's just another resource, and he's just down the road, which is helpful. You may have 13 counties, but we're one of the close ones.
Yeah.
So.
So my territory mimics the CCI Mountain District.
Okay.
So same counties, same county commissioners. I try to participate in the district meeting in the summer, and then also the winter board meeting down in Westminster. As you're aware, those are kind of expensive little gigs to attend, and so I've typically not gone to the summer meeting, even though it's in my region.
Interesting. Thanks, Kurt. Nice to have you up here.
Yeah, nice to see you again, Kurt.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about my coat. I was actually shocked that it wasn't anywhere near as cold here as I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
So.
Depends on the year. That was a warm,
This
that was
last
a
one
warm year.
was quite warm, so
Yeah.
we'll find out.
I say no one's ever said that before.
Really?
Only
Well,
Alaskans.
-40 with wind chill, -50.
Oh.
We're never gonna meet that.
That's fine, that's
Gunnison might.
You know, that's true, but I'll be here with you. So I would say one thing I've been here about 10 months now, and one thing it's amazing how quickly it's gone and how busy it's been. As you guys may remember, when I was here in January, I've been in Lake County and this office had been back open less than a month. So we've kind of accomplished a lot and done a lot of work towards our short-term and long-term goals. In general, kind of an overview, the first quarter, I kind of spent the entire time kind of doing more of a needs assessment and kind of analyzing talking to a bunch of organizations, having a lot of one-on-ones, and just seeing where we needed to be, and then starting kind of in May and June, I was able to actually start partnering with groups and then providing programming. So, these are my 3 short-term goals, and so the first one was establish a community advisory committee to guide and oversee the development of impactful programs to address the unique needs of the people of Lake County. So this is one goal that is I kind of put it on the back burner because I wanted to focus more on building relationships the first year and really kind of seeing where we're at before I just asked a group of people to step up and join another board. And so this year I kind of was identifying key groups that I think will actually serve well on that committee as well as individuals, and my plan is to kind of extend invitations in January and then hopefully have that up and running in the first half, which is why I wanted to kind of keep it for 2026 just because we are still working on it. It just needed to be a lower level at first. The second goal that I had was design and apply a robust evaluation plan to assure accountability, measure program effectiveness, and drive continuous improvement. So once again, this was one where I haven't finished it fully, but during that first kind of quarter, I really kind of did more of a needs analysis. So I managed to talk to about 21 different organizations and I had a ton of one-on-one meetings. I'm saying about 21, just because as you guys know, the people in Lake County hold many, many hats. And so while I may be meeting with somebody about to specifically represent one organization, they may be involved with 3 or 4 other ones. And so these kind of creep in, and so it was more of a cohesive rather than something that completely identified. I was also able to do a little bit of quantitative analysis. My first program, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which was the raised bed gardening. As part of the application process for that, I also had people applying and doing some general information questions. And one of the questions that I had was, have you ever heard of CSU Extension before? Of the 14 people that filled that out, 75% had not, which I think is a great base point for me. And it really also kind of matched a lot of the conversations I had one-on-one with individuals. There's a lot of misunderstanding about what CSU is and whether I'm a recruiter and not doing community engagement. And so that is what's kind of shaping my work for the next year, 2 years. It's been building it up and actually explaining what CSU is and what we can do. It also let me kind of figure out where I want to be and what areas we need to, like, so that base kind of showed where we can actually add and grow. Which is kind of my third goal there was increasing the awareness of programming by enhancing promotion and establishing a stronger presence at local events, fostering a deeper connection with people of Lake County. So set the baseline, kind of set the goal for that. That's where this work has been for the most of the year. Is kind of figuring out where I can add rather than duplicate. It's really, really important for me that I'm enhancing the programs that already exist rather than creating something new that isn't wanted, but also finding the gaps of where the resources from CSU can be put and to help. And so with that in mind, I kind of had a kind of a multi-pronged method for doing this. I've been working on showing up on things. I've been making sure that I'm at a lot of events to table. So whether it was the Pride event, recently we went to the intermediate school back to school night to promote the 4-H program. We were at the wildfire preparedness one in May. And then moving forward, I'll be hosting a table at the Main Street Trick or Treat on Main Street event to be able to promote 4-H as well as CSU Extension. I keep focusing on 4-H right now just because we're at the beginning of the 4-H year. The year runs October through September. And a good portion of the kids actually kind of moved out away or aged out this last year. So Anita and I are kind of rebuilding a new cohort and aiming for more of like that 10 to 12-year-old range. So we're kind of pushing that hard right now. Also, one of our regional specialists is helping with the high school as they're getting ready to do the career fair at the end of the month, and she's hoping to bring an actual college fair and have a bunch of different colleges represented so we talk about kids, not just CSU, but also a bunch of opportunities. So that's another area that we're going to hopefully be present at. Another thing that I've been focusing on is also making sure that our online presence is starting to get up. and kind of actually be there. So the Marcoms department for CSU is working on redoing all of the websites for all of the extension offices throughout the state. I was able to volunteer to be one of the pilot sites, and so we're actually gonna have one of the first 6 websites in the state. And I've seen the design and it's gonna be really pretty excited about it. And we're kind of finishing up that project right now, and so I'm kind of finalizing the content that will actually go on the website. And the Marcoms department is working on designing kind of a registration system as well as a calendar. So we'll be able to kind of be a one-stop shop, finding out what extension is doing, register for the event, and then also promote community partner stuff as well. That website will eventually be attached to the Lake County government site. Right now, we don't really have a page for CSU extension. We've kind of been waiting for this thing to launch so that we can kind of launch it all together and put it there. So hopefully that'll be there by the end of the year. And then we're also talking to them about starting a Facebook page, just so that, since that is a big area to recruit people here. But with CSU, they have a lot of restrictions and who can have Facebook pages and what the rules are behind it, so we're kind of navigating that process, and again, hopefully within the next month or so that'll have launched. So in general, I think we've made a lot of progress in this area. I think there's a long way to go, but one of the metrics that I think kind of shows that we're making progress is that I'm starting to get a lot more of the kind of ask extension type questions, which are the general questions from community members asking about random topics. So for example, I've received a lot of questions on high altitude turf grass, mountain pine beetles, ant eradication is one of them, wildfire preparedness, how you kind of, what you do with the piles of pine needles that are around people's houses. And then my favorite question was resources for creating a sheep breeding program. And that one took a lot of research to find the answer for, but I did. And so while I mean, again, as I said before, like I might not be an expert in all those areas, the Network for CSU does have those resources, and so there are people who can answer those questions, which is fantastic. So that was kind of my short-term goal progress. If somebody wants to push the next slide.
Wait, Diana, before we go on.
Yes, any questions? Yeah,
Yeah,
jump in.
what, do you have to have an advisory committee?
So statutorily, we have to have a statewide extension advisory committee. It's recommended in the county, but it's not statutorily required.
Okay.
There are a lot of boards.
There's so many, and I think that we are really trying to be aware of the amount of people we're asking to do, to be on advisory boards,
Yeah.
to be on boards at all.
Mhm.
And like, how much is that necessary, or how much do we already network it within this small community?
Yeah,
Where we can actually know who to talk to get varied perspectives, instead of asking people to put aside time and volunteer to show up.
And I'm definitely open to your guys' recommendation. I'm glad you're here for this conversation. And whether, and that was one question I was gonna have with Kurt as well, is that if we do need to have one, whether it could be one where they meet at a much less frequent, whether it's once a year or twice a year to see. But I think, I mean, I'm open to suggestions to what will fit.
I would just recommend to
Yeah.
not have an advisory committee, to have an advisory committee.
Yeah.
But if that's the best tool to get the information you need from the community about what you're offering, great, but don't, if it's not required, don't do it to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's gonna be tough to find those people.
Yes.
That advisory committee just disbanded just because
Yep.
people can't get them to show up.
Yeah, no, that's really good feedback.
Yeah.
And if we have it for things that are already really, really well established. So it's like, people know what you would be advising on, and if you're saying that you're in the beginning of people even understanding what the CSU extension
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
They don't even know what they are advising.
No, I think that's great feedback.
I think the idea behind it is that we need to be intentional that we're meeting the local needs.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
if that can get accomplished through a agenda item on existing boards that you're interfacing with, or community coffees,
Yes.
or that type of thing. It's important that we're hearing from a lot of different
yes,
voices in that process, so.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, Diana, I've seen you everywhere, which is why I'm like, you've gotta be knowing what what's
here,
going
yeah.
on? Like, I've literally seen you everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, well, this,
you're clearly going to the people
yeah,
to get that information.
I appreciate it. I think Kurt and I can talk about it and figure it out and then
Yeah, I don't,
go from there.
when I first started in Chaffey County, we had a fair planning committee and an extension advisory committee. And 80% of the people on those boards were all the same.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got to see the same people at 3 different meetings. And at that time, our advisory committee met like every other month, 6 times a year, so, which was crazy.
Yeah,
It moved to 4 times a year
yeah.
under my leadership and then crashed under my leadership, so.
Yeah,
I do think a lot of our boards are already moving to quarterly
that makes sense.
because everybody's getting stretched even further than they were.
I
When
think
you
Harley
started.
said, what was it, 32 different boards or something? It
It
was-
depends on how you watch it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, that's great, thank you. So in terms of my long-term goals, I kind of selected one major kind of overarching goal, which is to offer an expanded portfolio of programs designed to empower individuals and families, supporting the pursuit of happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. And this, I'm really pleased with this one, I think we've been doing a lot of progress in this area. So over the course of the year, I've kind of been partnering with different organizations as well as departments to kind of try a bunch of different types of programs to see what is popular, what isn't popular. Ironically, so far everything seems popular, but I think in the beginning still. One thing that has really stood out is the gardening and horticulture. And so I've been able to partner with C4 to kind of enhance and kind of grow their gardening summer workshop series. So I mentioned it earlier, but I was able to obtain a small mini grant from CSU to provide planter boxes, raised bed planter boxes with all of the soil for local families who are at or under the local AMI. And so we were able to provide 14 planter boxes through that program. And then we also did a whole bunch of other workshops, including one that was on using native plants to attract pollinators. We had a retired CSU agent come up and teach that program. We had 15 people come to it. We also had a master gardener who came up and helped C4 with their mid-season gardening troubleshooting workshop, which was well received. And we kind of culminated the year with a backyard garden tours, where interested people could go to see 3 different local gardeners and kind of how they manage to grow vegetables at 10,000 feet. And it's 3 totally different methods, which was really exciting, and so people got really excited about it. And so I'm already talking to C4 about next year and planning that, but the other thing that's popped up was that in response to this gardening series, we've had a couple of people who are interested in starting a Colorado Master Gardener program here. So currently, Colorado Master Gardener is one of kind of the cornerstone programs for CSU Extension with 4-H. And it's a statewide program, but it's administered at the local level. So right now, if people are interested in becoming a Master Gardener, they need to go through the Chaffey County office. And I know the struggles with gardening in Chaffey are a little bit different than gardening up here. And so actually of the 3.
What struggles in Chaffey, please.
I mean, they still have different.
So easy.
I'm sure Kurt can talk about
We
it.
grow a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
And ironically, like 2 of the 3 the 3 people who had for the tour actually were former master gardeners, but they stopped doing it because it was just too far and too much of a commitment.
Cool.
So that's kind of led me to my new proposed short-term goal, which is that hopefully starting next year, we'll be able to launch a program in August of 2026. So we picked August because that's kind of when the applications open statewide for becoming a master gardener. If you want to become a master gardener, you need to take a 14-week university class that really kind of deep dives into all sorts of gardening topics and Colorado-specific challenges, and that kind of starts in October, so I need that August window. So that would give me time to learn how to run the master gardener program, and then also advertise, and hopefully we'll have an interested cohort by August. Another part that would be really helpful with this is that as a master gardener, you would need to do community service hours that are based around gardening and horticulture. And so I've been talking to Duncan, there is some interest in community gardens. And this could be a way of finding some capacity to support that idea and more of a collaboration. Not short term, I would say 2026, but long term that could be something to move forward towards if the interest is maintained. So that's gardening. In addition to gardening, we've managed to do a whole bunch of other topics. One of the things that was really powerful this year was that there are a whole bunch of regional specialists in this mountain region who were able to come to Lake County and provide programs and kind of expanded what we were able to offer. So one of the ones that I was most proud of is we did a forestry academy in just a couple weeks ago. We had 17 people who showed up for that, and we talked about forest health, we talked about fire mitigation, and we talked about noxious weeds. And we had guest speakers from the Forest Service, the Chaffey County Weed Board, and then also the fire marshal team talked as well. And it was really, really well received. We've also been able to work with the library to provide kind of a summer science series as part of their summer reading program. I've been able to help with their Lego robotics program, and then hopefully we're moving into. Matt and I are currently talking about doing a wreath making workshop for adults in December, which could be a fun thing. As long as we have to talk to the Forest Service and get permission to gather boughs and sort of have some greenery attached to the wreaths. So we just started that one. I'm also working with the Project Dream to offer a once a week after school program, and that's been really fun as well. Today we're actually going to make light up circuit cards. I have one to show you this afternoon. I'm prepping for that. We've partnered with the health department and the human services department to bring up the behavioral health specialist for the region who provided a workshop kind of on grief and mental health training for their staff. And we have another regional specialist who's partnering them to provide a bilingual menopause workshop in December, which is really exciting. And then 2 weeks ago, I managed to partner with Full Circle to provide a workshop on higher education and what types of colleges exist and what career paths exist through those careers. And then we had 10 people attend that. It was entirely taught in Spanish, and it was well received, and we're hoping to do a Spanish language FAFSA night coming up. Cool. So which is really fun. Moving forward, I was just approved for a mini grant for through the statewide 4-H program to provide youth education on topics surrounding AI. So it'll be both kind of the positives and then the drawbacks, and the whole point of it is kind of inspiring critical thinking and awareness for youth. And I'm talking about partnering with ASH, one that VC4 to kind of provide that grant. So with that one, we get I think $5,000 over the year to do some programming, which is pretty exciting about. So it's one of those. The last 10 months have been busy, but I'm excited to see how 2026 can get busier. So yeah,
Awesome.
any questions, comments?
That is so much more than I would have expected you to get done in 10 months,
I
Diana.
was shocked. I've been really pleased.
Yeah. Really cool. Really impressed.
Hey, give her an office that doesn't really have a window, and she's gonna get out in the community.
You know, you gotta get out and chat to people. So
We know all about offices without windows.
Yep.
We've been in here all day.
When is the high school job fair?
I think it's on the 26th. It's on Tuesday.
November 26th.
Oh, October. It's on
October.
It's a Tuesday, 8 to noon.
I have it right here.
Whatever the last Tuesday in October.
October 28th.
8th. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is a career fair, not a job fair, to
Career
be
fair.
clear.
Yes.
So we're
Well,
talking about industries.
So yeah. And then our
During the day
regional,
or at
yeah.
night?
In the morning from 8 to 12.
So one of the things that I highlighted at the summer meeting in Silverthorne was the fact that we do have a number of these regional specialists to help plug in. I have a predominance of 1 and 2 educator counties in the mountain region here. Just budgets and populations don't support larger staff, and so it's been wonderful having all these regional specialists be able to come in and provide subject matter expertise
It's great.
and expands the palette of programs that we can offer. So,
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your work.